Okay.
Very close enough to them to us.
Central School, I could be down. Hello, yeah. Oh, look at. No, wait.
But you notice when you look south of town, there's nothing.
Right. Yeah, look up just this side of the airport, it's all this tree, yeah. Probably still that cherry. Is that where the civic center is that we're looking at that clearing? I can't get that in my mind.
That would have been a racetrack.
It's right.
Yeah, fairground. Yeah.
It's not in the picture.
Not there?
It's north of the street.
Yeah, you're right, you're right. What is that open area?
Airport.
Well, the airport, wouldn't that be where the crisscross is?
Yeah.
This,
Okay, this would be down to the left and down a little bit, looks like quite a development there along.
Oh, where you are.
Right here? Up a little.
Yeah.
Here, there.
It's about where you are, I think.
What is that?
It's about where you're sitting.
I'm talking about the place on the screen, but the microphone was on. No, we're already just invited. Okay.
are we working now?
I believe so.
Yeah, I'll start.
Okay.
If you wanna,
No.
if you wanna ask them in there.
So
maybe.
I don't see.
Okay. For those of you on Zoom, are you hearing okay now?
So it's not there, yeah. no.
You should be fine.
Okay.
Sewage here.
We've got a discussion going now. So as soon as that's over. Yeah.
Yeah, but
The reason for my title being negative, I was working there for a while with the Traverse Area Historical Society when we were in the basement of the Carnegie Library there. And Joy Wilson handed me a box of negatives. A lot of them loose, some of them in not acid-free sleeves and this sort of stuff. And she had no idea, none of us had any idea what was in it. So she said, well, you know, go to work. So I did. I didn't think I was ever going to get that project done, but I did. It took about 2 years, I think, of going in there about once a week, and I transferred, made positive prints, or not prints, but positive images of them, and cataloged them into the Past Perfect system. When we things broke up there at the Civic Center at the History Center, the collection, of course, was donated here to the library. And I wondered if by any chance any of these are still available. Well, with the help of a couple of the librarians, we did find some of them. I had a afternoon about a week or so ago, and I came over here and transferred a whole bunch of them and then went home and put them into this PowerPoint presentation. So this is what we're going to do. Pretty much, this is going to be sort of a slideshow, but I'm hoping that those of you in the audience, if you know something about what you're seeing, will speak up and say something. I'm particularly Fred and Larry, who've been around here since the world began, should be able to put some information in on this, I would think. So Adrin too, I know you. Oh, okay, so, okay. Okay, so we have the formation of the world, so, okay. So there's the picture without the script there. This is Mrs. Drew and her children. I don't know who Mrs. Drew is, if any of you know. I can see that it looks like they have an Atwater Kent radio behind them. And of course, that's with my interest in old stuff that always sort of attracted me to some of these pictures. There's a couple radios that you will see. This is fall. Now, obviously fall happened back then. So I think this, I was not smart enough to bring the printed out form that had my notes on it. So I think it was the 40s that this was taken. Here's Mrs. Hicks and Mrs. Burr. Again, we have another radio in the background on one of them there. Don't have years on these.
You want us to just speak up, or are we gonna go through and then talk about?
If you have anything to say, speak up. Yeah.
Okay, so the picture on it,
Yes.
I believe that was a group of photographs that had to do with, although it doesn't look like that picture is in town. Some of the others were in town, and I think it was sort of a victory garden kind of set. They're probably just going for pumpkin. I think there were others with these same people in it, that they were gardening. I want to say it was somewhere on Sixth Street, but I can't remember. There's a place where there's like there's a new house that sticks out on one of the north west corners. And I've been told that that was a garden at one time. And so I think these people had something to do with that and other photographs, but that they had bigger gardens in town during the war.
That was pretty rural.
It's not this picture, but it's the same people.
Those are elm trees in the background, so that kind of takes.
Okay.
So they can't hear you on Zoom too. If you don't mind to talk into the microphone, we'll pass it around.
Okay. Go ahead, Jim.
Okay. This is Jackie Vanderlei's birthday party, and you'll notice that she got a savings bond as a birthday present. Along the bottom, a couple of them are identified. Not all of them, obviously. Obviously, John Vanderlei is not very happy in this particular picture. He's sort of looking kind of, oh boy. The only boy, right?
Your sister got all the presents.
Yeah. Of course, what would be Traverse City without cherries? So,
That was a movie.
no. Obviously, canning took precedence during the World War II. So there's someone, Mrs. Gill there, canning. Now, these next two pictures, I should mention what happened with this thing. I downloaded all these pictures upstairs, and then I started a Word file with 1, 2, 3, 4 in the order that I took the pictures down. Well, the computer, in its brilliance, decided that the thing to do was to sort all these negatives by number. So that when I went back to start putting the thing together, none of the pictures lined up with what I had made notes on. And I never could, a few cases I could not get back in to find to cross-reference it again. So one of these next two pictures, this one and the one after it, one of them is Mrs. Popa, Mary Popa out of Cedar. I don't know which one of them it is. I think it might be this one, but I think that's Mrs. Gill. No, there's the other one there. There's Gretchen Voltruba in the center there. I did know her. My mother was a good friend with her. And of course, they had Voltruba's leather goods and owned the City Opera House. When I was first in town, they were out at my parents' place out at Long Lake before he passed away. And I mentioned something about I'd love to see the Opera House upstairs. And he says, well, I can't pull the curtain up anymore, but if you want to pull a curtain up, maybe we can do it. Well, I never did get up there. So I never did see the Opera House until it actually opened to the public. Again, here's a Delquist window display from World War II. Sew and save. He said corner of Cass in front.
Yes, southeast corner of Castle, 5 and dime.
Okay.
My great aunt managed it.
Here's Justin Smith with his prize mink for the 1941 Fox and Mink Show. I think
Well, surprise me.
Right. Now, I don't know whether he was there to mail the goose or what, but you can conjure up what you wish. This is one I actually was able to trace back, 5-generation picture, which is kind of neat. We had that happen in our family one time when we were first married, when an aunt of mine, my dad's sister, came up to visit with their daughter and son-in-law and their daughter and son-in-law and their new daughter. So we had the same thing at our house. That was the first time we put all 7 leaves in the dining room table. This one I'm not sure of, which is why it's not noted at all. This was marked Easter Baby of 1941. No, we got the horse show at the fairgrounds. And there's the fairgrounds as it was. We were talking about that just a little earlier before we started here. That's of course now the Civic Center. The bottom of Fair Street, as it goes down to the end, of course, is where the Air Art Museum is now. And this is the group working on, obviously, the horse show.
Just a second.
Oh, the woman on the right, far right is Virginia Hemming. I know that for sure. Who was a equestrian.
I don't think any of the people were identified in the picture, so as I recall. But
Beyond that, I don't know.
here's an American Legion group.
On the northeast corner of Washington and Cass. To the northeast corner of Washington and Cass. The bogey.
Oh, okay.
That was the third incarnation of the bogey.
Yeah, but look across, that's not that corner.
Yes, that's Washington going that way. But that doesn't look like the house.
Looking east.
Yeah. It doesn't look like
The houses don't look right though.
What would be there now? What would be there now on that corner? Is that condos?
Yep.
Okay.
This one was kind of interesting. With James T. Milliken there in the center. Secretary of State, Herman Dingman. Treasurer, D. Hale Blake. And Senator Don Vanderwerp, yeah, thank you.
Those aren't just white shoes, those are white and black saddle shoes, which
Yeah.
Militant specialized in.
I suppose he had a pull at that store, yeah.
So that would have been Governor Milliken's father?
Yes.
And, oh yeah. I don't have any information on this one. This was one of those that got shuffled and I never did figure out which went with what, so.
Anyone know the building? What's your name?
That's, I think, inside Park Place probably. And I think that might have identified it because I know there was one of them that was a group within within the Park Place. And I suspect that might be it, so. There's the Boy Scout group. A few of them are identified in there. Nineteen 47 junior high school band. You know, I've seen that. I've seen that room too, so.
As of about maybe 10 years ago, that room looked just like it does now. Sharon, do you know, have you been in the band room at Central recently?
Like Central grade school,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the last time I was there, we changed the lights.
Really? Because my kids oh, how long ago was that, Adrian? Okay, because my kids went to school there 15 years ago and they were still there then.
I think they were there. I think I saw them when our kids were there too. But again, I don't have an identification on this one.
They have your names on them. Saddle shoes.
They're
Yeah.
wearing saddle shoes.
I think there was an article, was one of the things that did identify it, but I never did get those two together. So. There's the Kingsley girls basketball team.
Oh, the fine J's.
Have any-
One of them was in my class and they were such a nice group of girls.
And sang all over the place and on the radio.
Yeah, some of the pictures that I remember when I was cataloging these things, there are a whole bunch of pictures taken at WTCM. Particularly Sunday quartet groups and that sort of stuff. And unfortunately, I never got into those when I was trying to find any of these pictures. So this is the only musical one. This and the band, I think, are the only musical ones I've got.
They lived, and the house is still there. They all went to Boardman School and they lived, there are two little houses. I think it must be Rose Street where there's a dental office and the corner of Rose in front. And there are two little houses there. And every time I go by, I wonder, how did they fit their family of 5 girls into that little teeny weeny house? But they were nice girls and good students. And as you can see, all very attractive and talented.
It was with the old, can't read it now. Here's the Christmas musical of 1941 with one very politically incorrect character at the back. There's a little closer picture of her. What? Yes, I think so. Yeah, question about that. Yeah. There's another politically incorrect character, and I'm not quite sure what the significance of this is, but there they are. The boxing group, 1941. There were this is 2 or 3 pictures on a welding school. Apparently they were doing here, teaching young people how to weld. And this is a whole class there.
Jim, do you have an idea where that was?
No, there was no indications of where it was. Probably had more to do with age than that, than any health issues, probably. You know, yeah.
There's a big, yeah, what is that?
Go back to that.
Frankfurt, that would be.
That would make big sense, wouldn't it? Yeah. Okay. There's St. Francis High School graduation. Not sure of the year, but that's what it is. And then this picture as well, so.
Must be the whole school.
That's what I was sort of thinking that's probably what it is. They were both in that category.
And what building is that in?
The old school.
The old,
11th and Cass, where the parking lot is now. It's torn down mid-60s, late 60s.
I didn't recall the school having those gates around it. It was on 10th Street.
It's between,
Could be, but
between 10,
that's not the church, so that's the school.
this is the school.
I don't remember that being the entrance to it. It was a flat wood.
That's a really old picture.
Yeah, it could have had the, fence in the 40s and was taken down in the 50s. Yeah.
School windows were twice as wide as I recall. And the split pipe that they hold out top and bottom.
Would that have been the rectory maybe?
No.
No? Okay.
On 10th Street.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the other picture just for a second. Well, it still has the fence there.
My husband was teaching at St. Francis when they closed this school, and I think it was probably in the 60s. And they moved into what's new, the new school now, and it's between, well, now it's the old school, between 10th and 11th. And the students carried their desks, each one carried their desk and from the old school into the new school, along with all their books. So it was quite an exciting time for them.
Now, this was a series of wedding photographs, and I just grabbed a couple of them. They were in there. I think there was about 10 photographs altogether.
Know what church?
No, I don't. No, I don't. There's the reception line, of course. It was 62-year anniversary. And there were a whole series of pictures of this one too. I've got 3 of them here. 2 of them cutting the cake there. That's the 50th wedding anniversary. My wife and I went through that this year. And again, I don't know who these people are. Again, I lost what this one was. So obviously took place in Park Place. Now, this was marked 6 unknown men at the airport. So if anyone knows who these unknown men are, you can.
You did a bigger table.
They did.
That's awesome.
This one I found quite interesting, with the Penberthy and Collier in Thurlby there too. But when I worked at Munson 20 years, there was every year they had this Penberthy Collier conference that went on, and this was started by Thirlby a number of years back, and it's still going on now. They're still doing it every year. We did it, they did it at the Park Place for a while, and then we were out at the resort for a while. I don't know where they're doing it now. But probably out at the resort, yeah, yeah. But so I was kind of excited to see that one. And this one, of course, we had one of those shock machines at the Heritage Center, as I recall. And I think I remember seeing this picture there with it. So we've got 3 people and 2 names. So okay. So who's on the left? I have no idea. That might be right. Salesman, he said, yeah. Nice looking people, whoever they are. Here was the mayor in 1941. Here he is acting mayorly.
So in 41, that's a better picture. In 41, would the city offices have been on State and Cass?
No, they were in a building on Front Street.
Okay,
They didn't move to State and Cass until 52.
good, thanks.
There was a series of pictures that I probably were taken for a magazine, I suspect, or the East Bay there. And there were a number of them. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's East Bay, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's it doesn't look like that today. And there are some ladies doing some other things. Fishing and hunting, so. No identifications of who they are. I think this was in the 50s that this was taken, as I recall, yeah. And there's the new fire truck with the ladder truck so they can get up to the top of the Park Place.
Well, that's not-
Right.
That's right on State, though. That's the old front entrance.
No.
I don't think so.
You can see the bay,
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, that's
Today,
Yes,
you do,
yes.
that's reassuring.
If you're on the 10th floor.
They must be watching fire truck.
I've been debating where that was taken, and originally I thought maybe it was the old ironworks, but I bet it was over probably maybe on the west side of the Boardman River, perhaps too. I don't know. Anyone got any thoughts?
Is that the potato implement factory? Would have been West Front and,
Fine.
thank you, yes, see, we're a team. West Park and Pine, that would be my guess without looking back at old pictures to make sure I'm right. The building looks familiar to me, and there's some kind of tank. Is that a tank to the right?
Oh, there is. Yeah.
You know, that could be the old gas company down on North Hall Street.
Yep, could have been the angle, could have been about right.
And that probably was when it was demolished.
The view between the tank and the. Unless that's part of the same.
Used to be a lot of factories down there. Sorry, Steve.
So would that have been in the twenties based on the car, right?
I don't know what no, the pictures would have had to be in the forties.
Because we had gas illumination here along with electricity. Because the house I grew up in had been originally wired for both. And I have a fixture from that. But it was a question of which was going to win, but gas lost and then they tore it down. And I think it probably was twenties, long before I was around.
It's newer.
Yeah, I mean,
No, you're right, 37, 38, something like that.
I mean, you're all right. You have to be careful about.
Okay.
A car doesn't mean it can be any time after the car was made. So you can have an old car in a picture from 1980. You could have that same car there.
Well, when I was a kid, the family lived next door to us on the east. They had a Model T for a long time. I'd see those, the Copuses, and I remember seeing him going out and cranking it. So,
I don't think the implement had the power on the top.
No, it does look like the ironworks, but I don't remember anything burning or being torn down.
yeah, you know,
Well, isn't that a trailer that's being backed off from, like the delivery of the new truck?
except that you'd have, if that was at the ironworks, you'd have the,
Or like a ramp.
yeah.
Probably the fire department when they got that. When they got it. Yeah.
Brick wheels.
That, okay. Okay, that's where that is. All right. Yeah, all right.
Train station back on the right. Is it the same?
Right, that
building
would
that
make
Brick
sense. I
Wheels
saw
is
the
in?
train
It is,
station. I
isn't it?
couldn't figure out where that was, but yeah, brick wheels, right?
Just to the right of where the
Yeah. There's an internal picture. I was assuming that was inside that building, but I might be wrong.
What's in all of the books? No? Parts. Parts?
Probably, yeah, you're probably right. Too pixelated. It's too pixelated to see. There was the new osteopathic hospital at the time.
Wow.
And it seems to me, as I recall, and when I worked on those pictures, it's a whole bunch of interior pictures of the building as it was being made. Had some interesting ones. They also had Trinity Lutheran. There were pictures of that construction of that church as well. Amongst these pictures, I didn't get into any of those, but
So was that airport access road on the
back of it,
okay.
in 1960 roughly, it was opened in 61.
It only goes to golf place.
and Paul Garthy.
Building's still there.
Yeah.
With a public,
Okay.
right across from the transfer plant station for the city pumping plant.
But,
400 bucks.
there's your new appliances.
Funeral parlor.
He said it looks like a funeral parlor for those of you on Zoom. I'm assuming that is, yeah. Now I could be wrong here too, because there's, they were not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Retro stoves, those stoves are they cost like $4,000. For the double oven.
Now, I'm thinking this may be another competitive dealer here. But I could be wrong. There's no, again, yes,
The appliance store on State Street.
Max's
I
Service.
think this is, if I remember the group of pictures, I could be wrong. I think it's Max.
That would make sense.
The bill.
You know. There's getting your new refrigerator. These are the first two boys that left Traverse City to go, were drafted into World War II.
No, we don't know. Yeah.
That's right.
We weren't in World War II. The draft started in 1940. Yeah, but the captain influence indicates something that isn't true. Going to World War II.
And I'm betting if they were drafted in 1930 or in November of 40, they were still in 41.
Yeah. There's another picture of them getting onto the bus.
State Street, right, to the left of where, the funeral home, Martinson Funeral Home was, when the annex was still there. That's what the bus station stopped.
Are people taking notes of this?
Probably should have, we should have been, yeah, okay,
Those plastic size picked up since the.
okay. Yeah, this is, these. Yeah, December 15th, 1941. And picture on the outside by the post office there, same group.
Has anyone noticed they're taking down the post office now, they take down most of plants? I mean, the fixtures there with the glass.
Oh, sorry. The fixtures are still there, but the glass, whatever you call the bulbs are down now. So it's just bare bulbs. I'm not sure what they're doing there, but I hope it doesn't mean they're taking down the fixtures.
This is a combination of two pictures here. There's the reindeer with Santa and then the little girl looking out the window. Which probably was for an advertisement, I would think.
What was that?
Comstock?
That's where the arcade is.
Okay,
What, was there a store called Comstock?
Big department store. And there are 2 stories and the electric. They took your change, your money.
Oh.
out.
I remember seeing that when we visited too. That's,
Okay, so, and where was it, Adrian?
Where the arcade is down
Where the arcade, I'm just repeating it for the people. So it was where the arcade is downtown. And before it was the Globe. Thank you.
I thought it would be fun to get in and look at get that newspaper. But I couldn't get the thing to work for me at home. And I didn't have time to come back in and try to get the actual ad that was used in. But this one is, well, I don't know which one this is. This, I guess, is Comstock's too, probably. Yeah. This one's Milliken's.
back to school thing.
Yeah.
Oh, the small clothes. In the schoolhouse. And then, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I hadn't seen that. Eagle eyes there. I don't know who she is, but it's obvious he was taken for a picture or something. Rocks is, well, I think could be. That was what it said on the, it could be.
So back in those days, women didn't matter. They used to put their name.
That's true.
So you might be right. Maybe it should be an E, a Rex.
I did a study once for a page that I posted to the Historical Society, and I posted the picture of 20 women. And they were president, the garden club or something or whatever. Every one of them was Mrs. and then the husband's name. Not a single one of them had their name on it.
Kind of interested in this one. I had a whole bunch of nice license plates myself that, my grandfather, every time he changed, put a new license plate on the car, he took the old one and put it up on the barn wall. So we had all license plates, I think from probably 1914 on till 1955 when he passed away. And they were displayed at the Heritage Center, for one or two displays that they had there. They had one automotive display one time. And then another one, and I had basically donated them, but they'd never been accessioned. When everything fell apart, they said, well, do you want these back? And I said, yes, I think I do. So they are now at the Elmira Historical Society out of Lake Ann. I think it's flower shop now, if I'm right.
No, and Junior's Tires. What was Junior's Tires?
Oh, really? Okay. Okay, that would make sense, I guess, yes.
House is still there. Think that the house.
Yes.
in the background, you see
The Foes. That who used to live in it.
I remember when that burned, I was,
Big fire, yeah.
that state and
Frank Paulus. Although when it burned, it was, thank you.
yeah. Mhm.
what direction are you looking? So. Okay. It's a restaurant.
Yeah, well, of course, they're back in there. Yeah, restaurant and
Yeah.
professional building in there. Yeah. Yeah, if we went downtown for some reason, it might have been a Friday night. We went down to Stacy's. Remember Stacy's? For supper, and we went down and hear this, they were just putting it out.
It's like the street is filled with beavers. Still brick underneath.
I'm not quite sure where this is, but anyway,
Inside that building.
might be.
Hanging from the ceiling.
Arts,
It
it
looks
looked like.
like art almost.
Not to me.
Yeah. The guy's a little bit unhappy.
It's pretty hard in those days to print.
They used to put Rex on display as lessons for school boys.
In front of the Pioneer Station of the North.
There was a series of pictures that I would like to have found of an automobile accident. And they had pictures of the car. And then they had a picture of the apparently girl was the passenger who probably her face hit the window. She was pretty badly cut up. Could have been for insurance policies. And a picture of the guy who was laying out on the ground with a pack of cigarettes here and a couple of beer bottles floating over there. So you know what happened in looking at the picture. And
For those that wouldn't know, Al Barnes did a lot of insurance work on the side, so there are a ton of pictures of either the sites of a wreck or cars of a wreck, whatever.
Yeah. Now, this person we all probably know. Curly Crandall was in my mother's high school class. So I knew all about Curly Crandall from very small kid. Of course, he had a very distinctive voice, so. And he had the gas station there, which is now Randy's Old Town Service there at the. I know there was a rink below one of the movie theaters. I don't know if this is that or it's another one. So experts.
One of the Huntington Bank is on what front of my place, the other side.
Okay.
Walden or Hemming.
Okay, by Walters and Hemming. All right.
Came to Suburban Furniture.
Spectacular fire.
Hey, just before that, Conway put you to the.
Didn't I read somewhere that there was a skating rink on the top floor of Wilson Furniture? Was that something else?
It's below where it was the Michigan Theater, which is now,
I think I read that too. I think they played at Wilson's Furniture. I read, I think maybe in the teens or 20s, they like played basketball up there too. I've also heard that about the Opera House. Both. And I wouldn't guarantee either of those. It's just like somewhere in the reading and research that.
Yeah.
Moonlight Garden, and then there was Fun Factory below Michigan, which is now front of the center.
yeah. There's a close up of the three characters that were there. Yeah. Got to have at least one Cherry Festival picture. Oh. Well, that's the Record Eagle there. Yeah, so that's in front of the Record Eagle. Now Fred will like this next picture as I do. Minimum Music House. And I remembered I had a record that had their little advertising label on it. So that's down there at the bottom there. But I was looking at the covers there, the albums that were there on the wall. And a couple of them were familiar looking.
Remember the days when you could go into a little booth and try out a record before you bought it?
You'll see the one with Josh White there. Up the corner there, here's the album. For you on Zoom, I'll hold it this way.
The gentleman on the left is Ed Williams. Can't remember what he did.
Here's the Earl Gardner album that you see there.
Ah.
However, this does not have its original records in it. Earl Gardner would probably not be very happy about this. Because the records I have in it are blackface group, the Two Black Crows, which were very popular in the 20s, but the next two, I'm not sure. When I saw this picture, this is what reminded me of it. And I don't know that is actually this record album, but I'll hold it up anyway. This is Xavier Cugat. And I'm not sure that's this one at all, but you can't see enough of it to know for sure. But the rumba comes down this way, so no, it's not. And the last one here, Frankie Carl. Again, this is not the right one, but I'll put it out for whatever it's worth. This one doesn't have any records in it.
Must be a story behind that.
It must be. I have no idea what it is, but. Now this one, I was kind of curious about, we have a fellow that by the name of Scott Verhodge that does some of our accounting work, and I'm just wondering if it is a relative of his. It looks a little bit like him.
Warren had a heating and cooling business that sat about where the Folgarelli's parking lot is now.
Right.
He had a son I was in school with. But I think that building's been gone for 50 years.
Someone on Zoom said that there was a roller rink on Front Street between Wadsworth and Maple in the 40s. She used to go there and to eat at her home on Fifth and Wadsworth. And she also took piano lessons above minimum in the 60s.
That should be an M, that's J Bloom.
Okay. Thank you. This is another one of those that I could not trace down to what it was. It seems to me that there was 4 men with the presentation or something like that. It was listed as, but without. So Fred may have some.
Yeah, reading from the left. Oh gosh, no, I'm just hissed out on his name. He was an insurance guy, Rotarian forever and ever. And Jim Beckett holding the check. And then I'm not sure about the other two. The one on the right looks very familiar. Hybrader is the guy on the left. Lived almost next door to you, Adrian.
Appropriate, that's taking a check, probably for the schools.
And I guess this is a good one to have next to the pick in the lineup is the interior of the state bank. Back when they looked like that.
Someone else said Bill Hyde.
I think this one and the next one go together, if I remember correctly. Again, with them getting all shuffled, I'm not sure. But the next one is the teachers meeting that went on, and I didn't get this one labeled. And obviously that's in
That's the old gymnasium.
gymnasium
Central.
at Central, right?
Previous one, Glenn Loomis was in the front row on the left.
Let's go back here. On the center one. Okay, then those two pictures definitely went together. Okay. Yeah. Holding the magazine or book or whatever it is.
This is the one on the left in front.
Oh, okay.
He was superintendent of schools here from, I think, 38 to 60. No, I remember him too.
Of course, that's now the Old Town Playhouse. I went there as when I was up visiting my grandparents. They had a vacation Bibles study there. So I think when I was a kindergartner, I was there for a week with their vacation Bible school. So
Now they had a gym.
the basement?
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now that you mention it,
Only the boys were invited to go and play basketball. That's-
The west half of the basement, but it now has offices and restrooms, and the very far level is the actual original level. The rest of it has been built up.
oh, let me back up here. I think that's for pipes for a chime, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I suspect that's an electronic organ.
Richard Weiler.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I was wondering myself what that was.
It's probably St. Francis. Just kidding. Could be the convent.
No, I wonder if that one on Washington Street up on maybe
That's, the windows are too fancy for the convent, I think.
Oh, you're right.
But that.
But
that-
the
I
one,
think
the Congregational Church became
it was
Bethany Baptist.
Church. I think it was the Baptist.
Oh, the
church.
other Baptist, okay, yeah, the Baptist church along there, right? That does look. Does sort of have that look to it, doesn't
I'm through.
it?
The windows actually look like First Baptist.
Yeah, that's what we're talking, yeah. Mhm. Your guess is as good as mine.
How about the man in the center and back? Do you recognize?
Oh, yeah, I do. Thank you. It's Arnell Langstrom, middle in the back. And
What about the gentleman sitting on the left? He looks- Not from my memory.
oh, it looks like Dick Powell, but I don't think it is. I don't recognize any of the others, but I'm guessing that this photo was taken before I was born.
So pre-1920.
And again, I don't know what that was, had reference to, probably if I, it may have gone with one of the other pictures. Yeah. And there's obviously the same thing, yeah. Oh, I think there was something about a party. I'm wondering, well, obviously that's a party, but maybe that was part of it, some oil company party or something like that, seemed to me. That would make sense now that you look at it a second.
Does that look like the Opera House? The top part, like I think wherever it is, they brought in the signs and everything. Yeah, but I think they brought it all in and it's like either the Park Place or I don't know.
Each has it, the opposite. Show the one before.
Right, there is, yeah, okay.
Might be. But I don't think so. It's not, it's too high.
That's not basement because it's-
Yeah. It's
the
not the,
other full-
it's not the Michigan room either because there's no windows.
Well, the windows are down.
There above the light.
Oh, but the old Michigan room where Minerva's is was all windows.
All windows, yep.
Well, anyway. Okay, this is one we can have a little fun with, I think. Obviously somebody milking a cow, but I think this went along with this. Maybe that's Lars Hockstead, and there was two of the, I think two of these programs that went on, so the pictures are sort of mishmashed together a little bit. But it was obviously some sort of thing where they were giving prizes away. You could win a refrigerator and a car and $150 worth of clothes, I think there.
I believe this was a trade show at Lars.
Okay. Well, there they are sort of going at it there. They're introducing it.
Yeah, it is the front.
The bond rally.
Empty scenes.
And there was you did see under that board when on the other picture. Maybe that's what he was pulling there in this picture, was pulling the raffle tickets. Yeah, okay. If you look back at that picture on the extreme right, you can see that board. And then this is obviously a different time because they've got the stage a lot fancier. But and apparently part of it was to dress a mannequin. These are hilarious pictures. Obviously, the audience liked it too.
I think they're competing on putting the stockings on the mannequins. If you go back.
Yeah.
Like they had to put the girdles and the stockings on.
And there's the people that won the car, I think. And there's the car.
And that's the old Germain building that used to stand right across from the Park Place. Back then, they might not have.
Now, when I was going through these pictures, I always was looking for any pictures that might have any relatives in it. This was one that I came up with. The woman there is Jean Martinick, who was my aunt. And she is doing something with Dr. Bartram. And I think, and I don't know for sure, but I think they were related in some way. And I know when they broke the house up years later, there was a whole bunch of medical books that were in there, which might have been Dr. Bartram's medical books. Kind of wonder what value they would be in a sense, because I discovered in working 20 years I did at Munson that, 2 years down the road, anything that was done was considered out of date. So, but what the significance was of this, I don't know. The next picture, when I did this image, I didn't know who that person was that's speaking, but it has since been identified. And unfortunately, again, that's on the notes that I left at home. But there's one gentleman in here that caught my eye right away. That's my grandfather, James Martinick. James Martinick. Martinick Jewelers. I tried to blow it up a little bit, but didn't get very far.
There's a family resemblance.
The last picture I have here, in the early 50s, my grandfather was looking in the newspaper and saw a picture of Long Lake, where family has property out there. And went to the newspaper and got a print. So up until Friday, this picture is always hung in the cottage out at the lake. And it will go back there again next week sometime. Guess what I found when going through these negatives? There's the picture. This, I think, is not the same take as this one. There was two takes, and I grabbed the wrong one when I was getting these. But yeah, our family property is
What lake is it?
Long way goes south.
Okay.
that's the north end of Long Lake.
Yeah, nothing out there.
Yeah, it's all built up now. Yeah. That's Church Road. That's up at the bottom there. My cousins have a place here. Friends Church would be here. Boomers would be. But, yeah, this is a stone wall, or stone wall is right here. That's Stagger Road. Yeah, our property is down here and here.
One of the peninsula has some. The amount of cottages that are about.
Oh, yeah, it's yeah. And that is what I have for you today.
Thank you, Ted.
Probably 1950, 51, about when I was here with a small boy. When he got there.
Yeah. So is this Long Island or?
That's Long Island.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I've taken a bush out there camping. Only in the winter when the snake is solid and we, was this there, this the, what year?
Oh,
Yeah. Okay.